Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawadah from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, or HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that ruled well. And salutation and much love for YAHAWAH pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, so I want to go ahead and jump into this here lesson dealing with these Edomites, all right, and identifying who these Edomites are, we've been going through this for quite a while now, but hey, we're going right back through it again. Our job is to set up to teach and edify our people, so that's what our job is, no matter how repetitive it may be, in all actuality, this whole job is repetitive because there's really nothing, extra coming into the scriptures, the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning and our understanding. So it's the same thing. We just keep, going over the same things over and over and over again, until our people get it, and plus we're in a time now where, we're about to have a massive flood of people start coming in. All right. And this new massive people coming in, these are, basically, babies or babes in the faith. They just now coming in, they can't be eating and digesting the meat. It's too much for them at that point in time. You got to start with the milk, just like a regular baby. You can't feed a newborn baby, meat. You got to start out with milk, So, some of these lessons, for, especially like some of the brothers that's already in the truth, this might seem like a repetitive or whatnot, but hey, we here to build up and exhort and edify our people, especially the ones that's coming in newly and everything like that, and I've been noticing on my comment board, with, lately, especially for you new subscribers that's newly subscribed to the channel, couple tips, hey, go back and look at some of the older videos, and also, don't mind, on the comment boards, some of these comments, you'll be able to tell who they are. And I try my best to, get rid of some of these people from blocking from the channel, but nevertheless, you'll know these people, basically by some of their comments, now I don't go through and just delete, just so-called bad comments or whatever. But nevertheless, when it comes to, there's certain types of people that'll come up and they'll spew the same thing. Like I noticed I had two different people under two different accounts, paste long descriptions about, and they was coming out with some scriptures about, basically Esau, Edom, the so-called white man not being Esau, Edom, And so just by looking at these things, I was like, wait a minute, this looks like some copy paste type deal, Don't engage with these people. These people are agents, These people, they really live a sad life, Their job is to go online and basically talk shit online, That's some shit teenagers do, Whereas what we doing online, we going out and we teaching and edifying and building up our people. All right. This isn't something to just a platform to get online and just start talking shit to people here and there. That's not what we're here for. We're not out here. We're not online just sitting here blasting and talking shit to the so-called white man because we don't like the so-called white man. No, we out here exposing him for the devil that he is and showing our people who he is according to the scriptures and waking our people up to who they are according to the scriptures and letting them know that, hey, look, salvation is about to come. All right. But nevertheless, we're going to get into this here lesson, going into now this will more than likely be a multiple part lesson because I got quite a few scriptures, but we're going to just go into some of the characteristics of who the Bible calls a character named Esau, and his name was changed to Edom. OK, so in this way of finding this here out, I'm going to go through and I'm gonna read some scriptures. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm relating this to the so-called white man. This is who it is. But, in your own, you should try to, don't just believe everything that I say, go out and do your own research. Okay. I'm not afraid of what you're going to find. In fact, I want you to go out and not believe me and do your own research because you'll find out more things than what I done told you in the video. All right. But not just that, compare this to, the different races, are the things that I'm reading about. Do this fit the so-called the so-called black man, the so-called Arab man, the so-called, Asian man, the Chinese man, the so-called Japanese man? Does it fit any of these people? The so-called Africans, do it fit any of these people? You know what I'm saying? Or does it fit the so-called white man? All right. You know how they say if the shoe fits, then, hey, you got to wear it. So this is pretty much what we're about to go through in these here scriptures. All right. So we're going to start here in the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and I'm going to start at verse 21. All right. Some people want to know about, you'll go online, the white man's origins and the so-called black man's origins and so on and so forth and history and so on and so forth and all these different things just going back. Well, in the scriptures, they let you know what any question you can come up with. I believe that it's in the scriptures. You can find it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me speaking carnally. But hey, because there ain't really nothing I could be able to come up with and try to figure out that I can't find out in the scriptures. But nevertheless, you want to find out when the so-called white man touched down on the planet Earth. All right. Right. The so-called white men as we see today, when people are like, oh, well, you know, sometimes they say shit like, you know, from ancient aliens and so on and so forth. Well, I mean, there is you know, you can look at it in a certain type of way, and then you can come up with this kind of idea to kind of relate to what the hell they talking about. But, you know, nevertheless, now, none of us are really aliens. Like green, big grays and shit like that. Ain't no shit like that. All right. Now you got demons that could take different forms, but nevertheless, that's not what we're talking about. But nevertheless, you have like two main characters, which we're about to get into. You have Jacob and Esau. When you watch a movie, let's say, let me think of a movie where you have, The Dark Knight, right? You have The Dark Knight, the Batman movie with the Joker, right? All right, you have Batman and then you have the Joker, right? You have a good guy and a bad guy, right? In reality, the Joker actually in that movie was the good guy and Batman was the bad guy. But nevertheless, hey, we'll just play it like that because that's you know, there's nothing new under the sun. This is where they get all of these movies and shit from, because this is the same story I'm about to tell you. That Dark Knight movie is the same story I'm about to tell you. All right, well, what we're about to go through in the scriptures is exactly the same story. All right, the Joker, they thought of him some crazy ass lunatic person, this and that, and the Batman was some rich, sophisticated, well-to-do off-white man that was so-called fighting justice. But what they didn't realize was Batman was the one that was creating all the damn criminals that he would have to go out there and fight, just like the American government and stuff that they do. They the ones creating all the damn terrorists and all the problems around the damn world. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't need no damn world police. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really worried about no shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Most people is trying to just worry about paying their damn bills and keeping a roof over their head and some food in their belly. All right, they're not worried about all this extra shit that the so-called white man is coming up with, you know, like in the movie Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, wait a minute. Why you gotta be walking around with a goddamn cape, a suit on, and driving a Batmobile and some shit like this, bro? We in like a regular fucking city where regular people drive Hondas, Fords, and go to work and shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like some people rob the store, this and that. You don't need all that extra shit, but you overdoing the fact. But see, now you creating what? The Joker. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, and then what? The Joker was pretty much what? The good guy. Like, all right, I'm gonna make you make a moral decision. All right, you either kill the people on the cruise line or you kill the inmates on the boat. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, they inmates, they criminals, whatever, their life ain't important. Well, wait a minute. I thought all human beings was important. Didn't you say that? Aren't you supposed to be protecting people? What people are you protecting? Only your people and not the other people? You see what I'm saying? When you get deeper into things like this, you see certain things. But nevertheless, the point I was making about the Batman movie was you have the Batman and the Joker. These are your two main characters of the movie. Everybody else in the movie is just pretty much extras. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have too much of a role in the movie. Yeah, you have, whatever that little cop guy was named, Gordon or whatever his name is, the little cop, right? Yeah, he's a person in the movie. And then, the guy who will become like Two-Face and shit like that. Yeah, these are so-called extra people, and they're not extras in the movie. They actually play a role. You know, these would be like the Chinese, the Arabs and so on and so forth. Yeah, they play a role in the movie, but they're really not nobody. You see what I'm saying? They not, you didn't come to the movie to see the damn police officer in the movie. He's not the star of the movie. The star of the movie is what? Batman and the Joker. All right. Or the second one or whatever. They got Batman and Bane. You see what I'm saying? Everybody else was just extras. All right. So you have what? Jacob and Esau, right? These are the two main characters. Everybody else is different. So what? The rest of the people looking out and around, they could be looking up, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's something different about these people, because what? The Most High have these two people up on a high spiritual level. All right. We, the Israelites, obviously we on the highest of the highest level, not in this point in time in our captivity, but we the salt of the earth, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna always make something work out of nothing. All right. But Esau has control over the world at this point in time. You see what I'm saying? So that's why all eyes are on him. But nevertheless, you always have all eyes on who? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on one side versus the so-called white men on the other side. All right. This is where all the different things stem from, no matter how they try to cover it up and things like that. We always are the main focal point of all the stories in the whole planet Earth. You see what I'm saying? Especially now in these times, you know what I'm saying? Before Esau came up in the reign, we were still in the picture. When we was up under the Medes and the Persians, the Babylonians and so on and so forth, you know? But nevertheless, you have these two characters, all right? And they're basically like the main focal point of the picture. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we're going to just continue on into this, all right? Because like I said, people like to say that, oh, well, so-called white man came from a different planet or this and that. No, he didn't come from a different planet. Like I was saying, he's one of the main characters of the movie. So he's going to stand out more than everybody else. The so-called black man, Latino, and Native American man, they are the main star of the whole movie. So of course, they're going to stand out over top of everybody else, even if on the bottom of the bottom. You see what I'm saying? So to these other people, sometimes, you know how, you know, there's a joke, I think Bill Burr talked about it. It's talking about some black people in sports, you know, and the so-called white sportscasters, they have to try to walk on eggshells when describing black people in sports, you know, talking about something, you know, they got this little quick twitch thing, you know, they trying to make excuses to why we better than them. You know what I'm saying? In certain ways, you know, and the real answer is because the Most High created us like that. All right. But they come up with all kind of different things. Even when you look at the pyramids, oh, we can't figure out how the pyramids was made. It had to be made by some kind of ancient alien technology. Some aliens had to do this. Did some aliens bring us this technology? You know, when the so-called white man is coming out with all of his shit nowadays, all his technological shit, oh, they had to get this from aliens. Well, yeah, they getting it from demons, but this is how do I say? The course that they were supposed to take. Like when you read in Revelation 13 about the RFID, or the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, right? The so-called white man was going to do that according to prophecy. So there was going to be some kind of way and point that he would get that their technology. You see what I'm saying? So, but from somebody looking out, looking in, or the thermonuclear missiles, you know, one of these other random ass nations, like, how the fuck did the white man come up with a nuclear bomb? Like, what kind of shit is this? How does he come up with all this? He must be some kind of alien. He must be some kind of god. Nah. The Most High had put these things, these was all foretold about, all right? So he has to just play out his part, all right? But nevertheless, these two people are the main stars of the whole planet, basically. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to always, especially in these times, they're going to stand out, you know what I'm saying, as the stars of the movie, all right? But nevertheless, we're going to go into, you know, some of the things about Esau, Edom, all right? So we're going to start here in the book of Genesis, chapter 25. I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, and Isaac, all right, you know how you hear Abraham, Isaac, you know, and then they're going to Jacob. But now we're going to talk about Esau. All right. And Isaac entreated Yahawah for his wife because she was barren, and Yahawah entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. All right. So Isaac and Rebekah wound up having kids, and the children struggled within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. All right. So the first sign, all right, first characteristics of these two, what you're going to find out is it's going to be twins. All right. She's pregnant with twins. All right. She's trying to figure out, let me read that again. Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggle within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? So she's having complications in her pregnancy, more or less to say how we would say it today. So she's trying to figure out what's going on. If the Lord, you know, if first of all, if I couldn't even, get pregnant, you know, my husband went and prayed to the Lord. Now all of a sudden I done got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I was able to conceive now, but now I'm having, how do they say, complications in her pregnancy or whatever, whatnot, you know, she go back to the Lord, try to figure out what's going on. Now his answer was, and Yahawah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. All right. So first and foremost, it said 2 nations are in thy womb. Not so like the scriptures say, you are who your father is. All right. So if, I'm going to use some carnal terms, all right? If my father was a so-called black man, then I'm going to be a so-called black man, right? If my father was a so-called Chinese man, then I would be a so-called Chinese man. You see what I'm saying? And my son would be a so-called Chinese man. So you are who your father is, right? You are who you are. Well, you are who your father is. That's where you get your so-called, how does the scripture say, your pedigree from, you know what I'm saying? Or your lineage from, all right? Your bloodline from, you see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, the Most High is saying this. It says, and Yahawah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So the Most High here is actually creating the last 2 nations on the planet Earth. All right. So, you know, when you go further back in Genesis and you read about the table of nations, all right, you see how they go down through different lineages and so on and so forth. This person begot that person, this person. First of all, let's go back to Noah and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? You got Ham, who was the father of the Hamites, Shem, who was the father of the Shemites, Japheth, who was the father of basically like, I don't know how you would say Japhites or whatever, the Japhetic people. But nevertheless, you know, we will come from Shem. All right. Now, you have these terms where they say people are anti-Shemitic. Now, if we was to go back through that whole genealogy, all right, through all these different people to find out what they say Semite, which they wrong with that. Well, actually, they not wrong. When they say that they Semites or whatever, whatnot, you could be that if you want to be. That's some made up shit. All right. But in reality, what you're trying to get at is Shemites. All right. The sons and the descendants of Shem. All right. Now, we all are, well, not all of us, but the main people in that argument are all Shemites. All right. When you talk about that, let me see. Out of Shem, you had, well, shit, Isaac come from Shem, right? Now, Isaac had, well, or no, Salakia. Abraham had two sons, right? Or Abraham had more than two sons, but one of his sons was Ishmael, right? Which would be the father of the Arabs. All right. So Esau, Edom is not the Arabs. All right. And we can give you plenty of reasons why it's not them. Because for one, when you read through all of this, you find out and you put, go line upon line, precept upon precept. You find out that in the end times that that Babylon would be ruling the earth, the whole earth, right? At the end times. Also that you find out that Babylon, the Chaldees, and also the Edomites in this point in time, they all gonna be the same people. All right. These are all the same people in these modern day times. All right. But nevertheless, they're gonna be ruling in the end time. They're gonna be the ones oppressing everybody in the end time. They're gonna be the ones waging war amongst all the other nations in the end time. They would be the ones having all the other nations in subjection in the end time. You don't see no Arab nations having no other nations in subjection. In fact, let's just look at Syria. Syria is basically their own sovereign nation, which is an Arab nation. All right. But nevertheless, you had the whole goddamn planet Earth bombing the fuck out of Syria. You see what I'm saying? Syria wasn't bombing the fuck out of the rest of the world. No, it was basically America and their allies bombing them. All right. So the Edomites are not the Arabs. And it also said that Esau would be basically persecuting his brother the whole damn time, trying to kill his brother the whole time. So when you go look at the Arabs, who the hell is the Arabs trying to kill? What other race or nation are the Arabs trying to kill? All right. So if that just don't make no damn sense, man. But nevertheless, and going back to the Shemite, and then they also claim to be Ashkenazi Jews. First of all, Ashkenaz, I believe, come from Japhet. So you can't be an Ashkenazi Jew complaining about somebody being anti-Semitic, because if you Ashkenazi, first of all, you can't be a Jew and Ashkenazi at the same time. These are two different people. That's just like me saying, well, Barack Obama is my father and George Bush is my grandfather. Like, well, wait a minute. You could be George Bush's grandson and you could be Barack Obama's son, but you can't be both of their sons because these motherfuckers ain't even related. You see what I'm saying? Like, well, Barack Obama's my father. Kim Jong-un is my grandfather. Vladimir Putin is my great-great-grandfather. Like, yo, man, these are different races of people, different people all together. Like, how the fuck are you the sons of these people? They're not even related. You see what I'm saying? So how can you call yourself that? You see what I'm saying? So Ashkenaz goes back to what? Japhet, right? You have, and then they say Japhet is not a Shemite, right? Japhet is Ham, Shem, and Japhet, right? It's not a Shemite, all right? So, and a Jew come from the tribe of Judah, which is one of the sons of Jacob, all right? So that's all bullshit to begin with, all right? But nevertheless, let's go back down to the scriptures. It says, verse 23, Genesis 25 and 23. And Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. All right. So you gotta have two different nations. Like I said, these are the two youngest nations on the planet Earth. The so-called white man and then the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're basically, they are the children of Israel. All right. They broke down into 12 different tribes, and this is just who you call them today. All right. So if I just so happen to say, maybe for this lesson, the so-called black man, it also includes the so-called natives and the so-called Latino tribes as well, the whole house of Israel. All right. But nevertheless, it says, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And as you can see, looking down, the so-called white man and the so-called black man, we're separate people from a lot of the different things that we do. Not just that we separate from where we live and things like that, but we are on two completely different spectrums of the graph of the things that we do. All right. It's looking at our characteristics and things like that, But nevertheless, let's continue on reading. It says, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, now let's focus on the one that's stronger than let's go into the elder shall serve the younger real quick. This is all in, we'll get this in the blessing as well, but at end all be all, like the lessons dealing with slavery and things like that. Esau's going to go in captivity, like the scripture say in Revelation, 13 and 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Isaiah 14, 1 and 2. Talking about the Lord was going to have mercy on Jacob and put us back in our place. And we was going to take our oppressors, or take them captives whose captives we were. All right. And we was going to put them into captivity. All right. But nevertheless, going back up, it says, and one people shall be stronger than the other people. Now, when we go to the so-called white man versus the so-called black man. All right. When they talk about stronger, well, we could say physically stronger, right? Who's physically stronger, the so-called white man or the so-called black man? Now, granted, you can take so-called individual cases where you could take a goddamn bodybuilder, Arnold Schwarzenegger type white person versus some scrawny little weak black person and be like, oh, the white man's stronger than him. We're talking about in general and as a whole. All right. So let's just take a look at this. And one people shall be stronger than the other people. When we look at a lot of the sports here in America, right, or even the Olympics, right, who is the ones that's dominating in all those things? All right. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We always dominate over top of the so-called white man. Let's just say in running, right, when we do the running things, right, we dominate. It's basically all Jake out there, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that's out here outrunning. You might see one or two so-called white boys out there getting smoked. All right. But nevertheless, hey, we run faster than them. When you see us on what? Football, basketball, and all these other sports like that, we dominating the hell out of them. You see what I'm saying? It's just like back in the old days in the Roman times with the Colosseum, with the gladiators. These Edomites was watching the strong brute men, the real gladiators. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, participate in these damn gladiator games inside of the Colosseums like they do today inside these football and basketball stadiums, week in and week out here in America. It's the same thing. All right. Then you also have what? Where they was fighting lions and stuff like that. Well, shit. Now they got what? The UFC and stuff like that. All right. Who's dominating in all of that? All right. It says, it's still going on one stronger than the other one. All right. That's talking about physically. Right. Now let's go into mentally. All right. So-called white man lose his job. He'll go out and shoot up his whole family, the house, the dog, kill everybody. Then go kill himself. Right. But then so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we lose our job. Shit, we always losing our job. That ain't really nothing new to us. We lose more jobs than we get. You see what I'm saying? But we keep it pushing. All right. We'll be 55, 60 years old getting fired off a job. We done been there for our whole life. Put everything into that. Well, that's just how it is. We might be mad for a couple of days. We get back up and keep it moving. All right. We wind up getting evicted, lose everything, lose a job, go broke and this and that. We wind up always bouncing back. All right. But what? The so-called white man, they lose this or lose that, or they find out something is about to go wrong for them, or they about to get a divorce. They find out their wife is cheating on them or whatever, whatnot. They go and kill up every damn body. That's why they have that term going postal. All right. You have these so-called white people going up into their damn jobs, blowing up the spot. You see what I'm saying? When you go back and you look at all these damn terroristic acts and shit like that. All right. Especially here in America, they don't call them terroristic acts. So you can't just look them up like that. All right. Like the Unabomber and, what was that dude, that blew up that, was it Timothy McVeigh that did that abortion clinic and all that stuff, man? You see what I'm saying? These people, hey, they go around and they just weak ass people, man. What was that boy, Dylan Roof went up into the church, shot up those, so-called black people talking about they raping our women and they taking our jobs. What the fuck you mean we raping your women and taking your jobs? First of all, we don't gotta rape no Edomite bitches, man. These so-called white bitches, we don't gotta rape them. These bitches is falling all over us. All right. They falling all over. They want to be with us. All right. In fact, this ain't even nothing new. Back in slavery times. All right. They had to change the laws up because so many of these damn white women was willing to leave their so-called white man in freedom to be with a damn slave. So they was like, all right, well, fuck it. If y'all want to be with them, your ass is going to be in slavery with their ass too. And if y'all have kids, your kid going to be a slave until they 20 years old. These white women still did that. You see what I'm saying? So we don't have to rape these goddamn white women. They want to be with us anyway, just because of who we are, our characteristics, man. We compassionate. We have, flavor, juice. We spontaneous. We got all the juice, man. We lively people. All right. Esau, plus Esau don't even like his goddamn woman, first of all. And he like his woman flat like a board, like look like a little boy. Like he want a woman that like a 12-year-old little boy. All right. But nevertheless, hey, man, this man is just a weak ass man. But nevertheless, going into spiritual aspects, right? We got the physical, the mental. Now we're going into the spiritual aspects. Homeboy don't have no damn faith. As we'll look into when he sold his birthright. All right. He don't have no real faith. But look at our people. Our people, just look at our people, man. Our people believing in Jesus and Christianity and church, man. Our people go from, especially our grandparents and stuff, go from seeing a shitty life, living a whole shitty life, following after the so-called white man, getting shitted on their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Praying to this so-called white man that's doing the same thing to them. But our people still have faith in something that they don't even really know about. You see what I'm saying? They don't really even know our real power and stuff like that. But yet and still, they still have faith that there's an outside source and that their prayers are being heard by somebody that's going to have compassion on them. You see what I'm saying? Like when you go into all our churches and stuff like that, the Christian churches and all that, they don't know what the hell they in there doing, man. They ain't actually in there worshiping the damn devil. But in their heart, they have a zeal towards the Most High. Like they have a spiritual connection. You see what I'm saying? But the so-called white man, he'll be the head of the church, head of this so-called missionary that's going out to this other country or whatever, whatnot to help people, this and that. But he don't even believe in the damn scriptures. You see what I'm saying? Something go wrong. He's like, you know, they out there to try to go feed some poor people somewhere, so on and so forth, and something bad happened out there. They get all scared. They got to come back. Well, wait a minute. Where's your faith at? You see what I'm saying? You over here trying to so-called promote Christianity and everything, but you lacking faith. You see what I'm saying? So we already see that you know, spiritually weaker, physically weaker, and mentally weaker than us. All right. Verse 24. And when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. All right. Now, going back up to the end of verse 23, it says, and the elder shall serve the younger. Let's go to verse 25. And the first, being the eldest, came out red all over, like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. Now, when it says a hairy garment here, it's really referring to basically some dyed skins of some of the animals they had over there. All right. It's not actually talking about him being hairy, but Esau was a hairy person. We'll actually get that as well, too. But nevertheless, it says the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. All right. And they called him Esau. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So why did they come out telling you Esau's color? It says the first came out red all over. All right. So why are they telling you that homeboy's color? He came out red all over. First of all, because he didn't look like everybody else, you know, his parents. First of all, Isaac and Rebekah was both so-called, they were, people of color, more or less to say. All right. Like in layman's terms, they were so-called people of color. All right. Now, dealing with Jake, you know how Jake is when we out in the streets and everything like that. Go look at your friends from the streets and everything like that, and go tell me some of their nicknames, and tell me if their nicknames are not descriptive of what they are. Like Fat Boy, Big Head, Yellow, Red Bone, whatever, Skinny, Black, Slim. You know what I'm saying? You got all kind of nicknames. Jake has all kind of nicknames for people. You know, how do I say, that describes them. You know what I'm saying? Pelon in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? You have different names like that. Orejon, orejas. You see what I'm saying? You talking about somebody, like in those scenarios, oh, you calling them big ears and stuff like that, or a big head. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know, we even got that in so-called Negro term. Hey, what up, big head? You see what I'm saying? What up, Slim? What up, Slick? Same thing here. Homeboy came out looking different than everybody else, so they called him. Let me read that again. Verse 25. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Just like in typical Jake form, all right? Hey, man, somebody came out with some kind of something that was highly noticeable, all right? So we called him that. You see what I'm saying? Like, shit. We don't even know what to call these people. When we say dot heads, like that's, hey, we just see big dot heads, towel heads. You see what I'm saying? We're describing what we see. You know what I'm saying? We might not know the correct term to use when we say it, but we'll just use a descriptive way. You know, when we talk a lot of times, so-called white people call us racist because we'll be like, oh, the white guy over there, the white girl over there, the black guy over there, the black girl over there. Well, we just very descriptive people. The guy over there in the red car, the guy over there in the blue car. We're very descriptive people when we talk about a lot of things. All right. So Esau coming out different looking than all the rest of his people. He came out red all over like a hairy garment. All right. So they called his name Esau, which Esau means wasted away is he. All right. Now, what was wasted away from Esau? His skin pigmentation. All right. His skin pigmentation. Let me see. Let me look up something real quick. This is, well, I'll read it from Leviticus 13:2. It says, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot in the skin of his flesh, like unto the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought into Aaron the priest, or into one of his sons the priest. All right. So now they're going into this, and they was mentioning leprosy, right? So it says, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot in the skin of the flesh, or be in the skin of his flesh, like the plague of leprosy. So let's talk about so-called black people, right? Now, If you ever, we have a term sometime, like I remember, man, I'm gonna bust you in the head to the white meat, or you done scraped yourself down to what we would say like the white meat, the pink meat, or you got a scab, you know what I'm saying? You pick up off a scab, you got, dark brown skin or whatever, whatnot. You get the scab, you see the pink meat up under it, right? You get a bad cut or a bad burn or whatever, whatnot. You burn your skin off of your flesh, you know what I'm saying? You see the white meat, the pink meat down beneath it, or just like a newborn babies when they're first born, they're, even the darkest of dark people like me when I was born, if you've ever seen my color, I'm like the typical so-called black man color, right? But nevertheless, when I was born, I was very, very light skinned. I was very, very, very light skinned. You see what I'm saying? Very, very light skinned. Most babies are. Predominantly all babies are very light skinned when they're born. But nevertheless, Esau, all right, was all the way that color. All right. So we're going to get further into it. It says, let me just read down a little bit. Verse 3, and the priest shall look upon the plague of his skin of the flesh, and when the hair and the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is the plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look upon him and pronounce him unclean. So homeboy's talking about this. Hang on. Let me go down to verse 12, Leviticus 13 and 12. It says, if leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all of the skin of him that have the plague from head even unto his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if leprosy have covered all of his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague that is all turned white. He is clean. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. So again, what we're talking about is what? Skin color. Well, not really skin color, your skin, right? So to give you a visual example of all this, right? Let's say a so-called black person, right? Matter of fact, I'll give you the actual, this whole breakdown of what they're actually doing. Go on your computer and look up vitiligo, all right? And you'll see, so-called people, like so-called black people, people of color with these white patches all over their face, right? Now, those white patches, if you look at their skin in the white patch, it's the same color as white people. That's exactly what they have. But like what we was reading here in verse 12, all right, now let me go back, going back up to the top, it's talking about the little white hairs and stuff like that. All right, now scientifically, they tell you that what? Black people have dominant genes and white people have recessive genes. All right, and if white and black people, or the color white and black ever mix, the dominant gene, the black, will overcover the white. All right, so now when you're looking at this scientifically like that, right? Black people are so-called fully melanated. This is why you have the darker skin, the darker hair color, the darker eye color, which was helping you transfer a lot of the vitamins and the nutrients and the stuff that you need from the sun. All right, and a lot more things like that. All right, you get that through what? The melanin. But when you are, how they say, have recessive genes and you lack in all of these different things, all right, this is where you get the so-called your white skin, like his name was named Esau, wasted away as his skin pigmentation or his melanin was missing out of his skin. All right, you have that white skin, just like like I said, when I was born a baby, or just like everybody else was born a baby, right? They started out with very little melanin in their skin color. And as they got older, they got darker and darker and darker. All right. Same with your eye color. Your eye color started out very light, not that much melanin in it, but over time it got darker and darker and darker till it got to a dark brown state. Same with your hair. All right. Some people didn't have fully thick hair and stuff like that, had real thin hair, but the more and more they got older, their hair was getting thicker and thicker and darker. All right. But nevertheless, these Edomites, all right, when you see them, they have these recessive genes. They're lacking. That's basically they're lacking thereof. All right, for an example, I'll give you a visual example. Take a clear glass of like a clear glass in the kitchen, right? And fill up two up. You got two of them, two glasses. You fill one of them up with Coca-Cola and you leave the other one empty, right? Or you fill it up with water. One of them's going to be clear. You can see straight through it, and the other one's not going to be so clear. It's the same thing with us. We got the Coca-Cola. That's the melanin that was filling up to make us, have that coating in there. All right. With our eyes, our hair, skin, everything. So-called white man is lacking in all of that. So he's got, his cup's got liquid in there, but his liquid ain't colorful like ours. We got the full color spectrum in there. He just got clear water. So his skin pigmentation is wasted away inside of him. You can see through his skin. It's translucent. You can see the white meat up under it and everything, the blood showing forth through it. All right. Another reason, let me go back into that. Genesis 25. I will get that in the next chapter. So let me just continue on reading here. It says, verse 27, and as the boys grew, Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And again, we focusing only on Esau here. Now it says Esau, as the boys grew, Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. Now let's look around all the different nations on the planet Earth. What nations of people are, well, you actually do have some cunning hunters on a planet Earth. You know, you see some of these I don't know where the hell they from. They like the Filipinos, Thai people and stuff like that. They you know, they are pretty skilled with trapping fish and snakes and things like that. The little different things that they got going on, you know, just the stuff that they normally used to. All right, yeah, they pretty skillful hunters. But however, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right, is the most cunning hunter on the face of the earth. All right, this man, that's why they got dedicated hunting channels dedicated just to him. The hunting network, the hunting channel, the hunting clubs, hunting reservations, and all this and that for just the white man. You go up into their houses, they got on their walls what? Instead of a lot of pictures of their kids and things like that, they got what? Trophies on their wall. What are the trophies? The heads of deers and bears and things like that. That's all they want to do is go hunting. Yeah, I gotta go hunting this and that. And some of these people, they just go hunting just to fucking hunt. They ain't even using it hunting to eat or whatever, whatnot, you know? You know, some of these damn Edomites, they be like, yo, I know some Edomites that go fishing damn near every single day, literally every day. Before work, they go fishing, and after work, they go fishing. I'm like, dog, do y'all eat fish every day? Like, what the hell's going on? Nah, we don't even eat fish like that. I give it all away. I just, on my way home, I'll stop at the gas station or whatever, I just give it out. Like, well, what the fuck is the point? Like, I just like fishing, you know, and hunting too. They just go and they kill an animal, and they just cut the head off or whatever, whatnot. They don't even eat it, whatever, or they just kill it and take a picture with it and keep it moving, you know? But nevertheless, they are cunning hunters. They got the duck calls, the duck piss on them, the deer piss on them, sitting in the tree. They got the camouflage like them. All right, that's what hunting animals. But what? They also hunt human beings down too. All right, just go back into the olden days before you had all this here technology. They had the hound dogs and hunting people down. Hey, one thing they do is they'll find your ass. No matter where you at, the so-called white man will hunt you down and find you. The runaway slaves, they knew how to hunt you down. They knew how to train the dogs to smell your scent and go find you and whatever, whatnot. These were cunning hunters. All right. And they also a man of the field. They always like to go camping, go hiking, go be out in the outdoors and stuff like that. We about to go mudding. We about to go out swamping. We about to go down to the mud puddle and go waddle in the mud like some pigs. That's what the fuck Esau like doing because he's a man of the field. What other nation on the planet Earth like going to go out and get dirty and muddy and outdoorsy like that? There ain't no other nation on the planet Earth like, you don't see Chinese people waddling around in mud and shit like that. All right, hunting down all kind of animals and shit like that. You don't see the Chinese people in the woods with deer or tiger piss on them or no shit like that. You see what I'm saying? You don't see the Africans do. The Africans, they hunt, but they not nowhere near as kind of hunters as the so-called white man. All right, but nevertheless, none of these people fulfill this, but the so-called white man. He is the most cunning hunter of all people. All right, that's why they got the hunting networks, the hunting shows, and all these different things, and they the face of it. All right. It says, and Isaac loved Esau because of he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now, let's look at this. It says, Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, right? Now, when you go into looking at Jacob and Esau, well, the so-called white man and the so-called black man nowadays today, right? When you look at the family structure, you see the so-called black man is raised up in a single parent household, mostly by his mama. And you talk to any Jake, you can do whatever you want to do to Jake. Just don't talk about my mama. You see what I'm saying? Jake, like, man, you talk about my mama, I'm going to cut you, cuz. I'm going to fuck you up, cuz. Talk about my mama, right? But with the so-called white man, right? They always be like, they always like, fuck you, mom, and whatever, whatnot. But the fathers is always like, yo, I'm proud of my son. I got my son this job. Me and my son. I'm passing it down to my son. The father and the sons is always out together. You always see them going out hunting, the pictures of them and their father out there hunting or whatever, whatnot. And all these different things, all right? Esau, he was very close with his father and everything. Well, we got the same mother and father, but Esau was real close to our father and everything like that and so on and so forth. He was a real outdoorsman, right? But Jacob, was basically like they would say a mama's boy, was real close to our mom and everything. And you still see that played out till today, all right? It says, verse 29, and Jacob sawed pottage, all right? So Jacob, just so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, here they go in the kitchen cooking up something. When you go to any of these restaurants out here in America or anywhere you go, who's in the kitchen? No matter how American the name sound or how many white people, Cracker Barrel or whatever, whatnot is the only name of the title. No matter how white or how American it is, you got so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans working in the back. All right. No matter what kind of restaurant it is. You see what I'm saying? You got Jake in the back. Cause why? Jake is know how to cook. We the salt of the earth. We know how to flavor everything. All right. We know how to, we know how to just, make shit rock. You know what I'm saying? Like shit. Go back to, slavery times. They was feeding us the scrap on the plantations, right? Pig intestines and so on and so forth. We literally took trash and made that a gourmet meal. You see what I'm saying? Top cuisine, not top cuisine, but just, top cuisine. You see what I'm saying? We didn't made shit into a top cuisine. Some, one of these, types of foods that people will want to eat and stuff like that. All right. How is it that we do stuff like that? We can take shit. Basically, it smell like shit, taste like shit, and make it good to the taste palate where people want to eat shit. Think about that. All right. These are the characteristics of these people. All right. And Jacob saw a pottage, and Esau came in from the field and was faint. All right. So he came in from the field. He was all tired. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee. Here we go again, looking at homeboy. So Esau was out in the field hunting, right? And he was faint. He didn't get nothing when he was out there hunting. He was faint, came back in, and then came inside and demanded that his brother would give him some food. Like, wait a minute, bro. You didn't put in on this, man. Same way we fast forward till today. Esau always wanted to put his hand in somebody else's cookie jar, and he didn't put in for none of this shit. All right. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name called Edom. Now, it says, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. What is the pottage? The same. What is red about the pottage? What's the same? What do you mean by the same red pottage? All right. It says, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Right. So just like in modern day today. All right. Going back to that leprosy in the skin, the blood showing forth through your skin. All right. And you lacking melanin in your skin. One of the things that we call you in modern day terms today is what? Rednecks. All right. That's why you are the so-called red man on the planet Earth, and you the devil. All right. Just like the characteristics of the character of the devil was the so-called red man or whatever, whatnot. That's you though. You are the devil, the red man. All right. It says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Now Edom goes into red. All right. But nevertheless, he wanted that same red pottage. The food wasn't even done. The meat wasn't even, the meat was still raw. So he wanted to eat the food with the meat in there. All right. How do I say? It's undercooked, just like his ass. If we fully cooked, fully melanated, we got the full vitamins and nutrients and the buildup of our body, and Esau is lacking or got recessive genes. And basically, in a sense, he's way undercooked. So he wants the same way undercooked food that looked just like him. All right. That same rare raw meat that looked just like his ass. When you go to these restaurants today, homeboys say, no, I just want mine tartar. Just rub it across the grill one time on this side and one time on that side, and that's it. It's got to still have blood and it's still got to be pink all the way around. All right. This is how Esau eats his food. Go to any restaurant where they, not like a McDonald's type, but where they cook like burgers on the grill or whatever, whatnot, where they'll ask you how you want your burger done. And just look at the so-called white people taking bites into their burgers and see if the inside of that burger meat is not the same color as their skin. All right. That's why his name was called this. Well, his name was changed from Esau to Edom, which means red. All right. So it says, Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Just like when you see so-called white people when they be faint. All right. So go look up a marathon where a bunch of white people is running a marathon, and watch them when they come across the finish line, and you see them, they be all faint. Their cheeks be all rosy red. You know what I'm saying? They just look like they faint like a motherfucker. You slap a red person, see what color do they turn. The blood starts showing through them. They get excited. They get mad. They get happy. They start crying. Any emotion they really go through, they start turning red like a goddamn fire hydrant. All right. They want the same red meat just like them. That's why his name was called Edom. All right. So when you go into the damn restaurants, like, if you are a Jake, a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, and you're in a restaurant serving these damn white people, so-called white people, and you ask them, well, how would you like your steak done? And he's gonna probably reply, I want it rare. You know what I'm saying? You like, that's why they called your name Esau. You want your meat just like your ass. When I bring your steak out, it's gonna look just like you. How do we want our steak? We want our steak to be just like us. We want our steak well done. We well done. We want our steak well done, like the law say, with no blood in it. You ain't supposed to be eating nothing with blood in it to begin with. All right. But Esau is a goddamn reprobate. All right. And these are his characteristics. And he still do it to this day. All right. Go up online and see, type in people eating raw meat. Guarantee you 99.9% of them is the so-called white man. And the meat that they eating is the same color as they damn skin. All right. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Now, not going too much into Jacob, but nevertheless, look at some of the characteristics of Jacob. Jacob always trying to look for a hustle. All right. That's why I call him, they say, you know, Jacob was the supplanter. I call him Jacob the hustler, because Jacob, just like Jake today, we always trying to, not to say we always trying to hustle somebody, but shit, we looking for a way to come up off something. You know, you can hustle something, this and that. All right, well, if y'all motherfuckers finna throw this here away, I can take this and sell this, this and that. You know, or y'all keep throwing away all y'all tires that y'all changing off this here spot. All right, I'm gonna take y'all trash and open up me a used tire shop. You see what I'm saying? We find a way to hustle something. You see, well, y'all gonna be throwing away these tires anyway, and there's still some good tread on them. I might as well open up me a used tire shop with it. You see what I'm saying? That's, hey, Jacob the hustler right there. All right. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do unto me? Going back to one shall be stronger than the other one. Now, Esau is the weaker vessel here. All right. So he don't have no faith. All right. And he says, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do unto me? All right. So he think he finna die anyways. But if you understood the birthright, you got to outlive your father for you to, first of all, get this here birthright. Second of all, you got to be alive for you to be able to get it. So how you gonna die and get this here birthright? So you don't, and it don't mean nothing to you anyway. So you know, you don't got no faith. You physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker than Jacob. All right. And Esau, verse 32, and Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear unto me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob never stole the birthright from him. Esau sold it to him fair and square. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. All right. So that was, hey, look, it was a fair transaction. Give me that birthright, I'll give you the food. All right. And Esau did eat it. It says, and he did eat and drink and rose up early and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So Esau hated his own birthright. He hated all the things. He was he's a carnal man. He don't have patience and faith. He want the quick fix. I want to hear right now, right here, right now. I don't care what tomorrow bring. You know what I'm saying? But you want to hear it right now. All right. That's the so-called some of the characteristics of the so-called white man. All right. But going into their redness, let me get a little bit more. Let me go up to verse 11. Genesis 27 and 11. And Jacob said, now, we're not going to really go too far into this. I've already been going for a while. It says, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. All right. So more characteristics of the so-called white man versus the so-called black man. Black people aren't, how do you say, genetically hairy people. When it comes to like body hair, more or less to say, like now facial hair and hair on top of our head is a little different. But when it comes to like when you look at a so-called black man on his arm, we not that hairy on our arms and our legs and shit like that. The so-called white man is, though. You can go up online and look up goddamn hairy white people, and you have people where their whole body look like they black. Not like how you say black people are black, but actually the color black, because all you see is nothing but their hair on their body. They could literally walk around butt ass naked out in the street and nobody would say nothing, because like their whole body covered up by all the hair on them. You see what I'm saying? Esau is a hairy man and Jacob is a smooth man. All right. Let me get into this here blessing. Salaki, give me 1 second. Let me read this as well too, because homeboy is he a little bitch made ass nigga, man. All he do is he's like an Indian giver. Genesis 27:36, and he said, is he not rightfully named Jacob? He hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, he have now taken away my blessing. And he said, has thou not reserved the blessing for me? So this is a damn lie. We didn't take away your blessing or your birthright. First of all, you sold it to us. In fact, you know what I'm saying? You came in like, yo, man, give me some food. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, sell us your birthright. You was like, oh, fuck it. What good is the birthright to me? Then you took the food, you took the drink, and then you despised your birthright. But now, when it's time to get the blessing being handed out, you already done sold your spot. Now you want to, you know what I'm saying? You like, you got these little voucher tickets. Everybody got a number ticket or whatever, whatnot. You like, man, I don't want this fucking ticket. I ain't finna win this shit no way. You know, you got your seats numbered. You like, man, throw the fucking tickets away. I don't care. I don't give a damn. So you get a ticket to somebody in front of you or whatever, whatnot. Now, they call that ticket number, and that person wound up winning off the ticket that you had. Now you want to, no, man, hold up, man. That was my ticket, man. Hold up. That's supposed to be my money. No, hold up. Just 10 seconds ago, you was like, you don't care about the shit. You don't want the shit, and you gave it away. All right, now you gave it away. You should have just waited and seen what your outcome would have been, because, hell, if it would have been the other way around, if somebody would have did the same shit, if we was in the same position and we wound up giving up our birthright or ticket, the winning ticket to your ass, you'd be like, nah, bro, you gave it up fair and square. Here, look, this is where you signed your name on the dotted line. Here's the witnesses that you had. No, this is rightfully ours. That's how it would be. But Esau, he can't take responsibilities for the shit that he did, all right? It says... let me just get down to the blessing. Verse 39. I'm going to get to 39 to 40. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother. Now it says, and shall serve thy brother. Going back into the elder shall serve the younger. It was already predestined, preordained before they was even born who was going to serve who. So Esau coming out the womb first was saying that he was going to serve Jacob anyway. All right. But here the point I wanted to get was, and by thy sword thou shalt live. All right. And shit, we can go to verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, let me go back. And Esau hated Jacob. All right. This is where you get the so-called racism from between the so-called white man and the black man. Back from when Isaac was still living. He was on his deathbed. But when Jacob and Esau, the first forefathers out of the whole nation of Edom and the whole nation of Israel, the two original forefathers, all right, when they was, actually living, all right, Esau in his own mouth was the one that said, he hated his brother. He wanted to kill his brother, all right? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, was told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau is touching thee, does comfort himself purposing to kill thee. All right, so that's what's inside of Esau's heart, is his plan and his purpose is to kill the so-called Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And you can see that on and on and on and on, even into the same day. All right. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, like we was just reading, about Esau, whose name was changed to Edom, after the same red meat, the same red pottage he was eating with the same red meat, all right? And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, all right? And what does the so-called white man do? He does what? Take peace from the earth. He brings nothing but death and destruction everywhere he goes, all right? And that they should kill one another, all right? And that's what he's doing. He's setting up laws, and not necessarily laws like, oh, you got to go kill this person, that person. But in the way he's setting up certain things, he's sitting in certain countries and, how do you say, proxies and whatever, whatnot, to go over here and wage his war on everybody else, all right? And it says, and there was given unto him a great sword, all right? Going back to what we were just reading in Genesis 27, and thou shalt live by thy sword. Esau, that red horse, he was given this here red sword that he was going to live by. He was going to rule the whole earth by living, killing with this damn sword. All right, I'm going to jump down to verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. And look, so-called white man, man. Look at him now. He's ruling over top of the whole earth. Let me get one more. I'm going to close out for this part. Job 9 and 24. says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges, if not where and who is he? So the earth was given into the hand of the damn wicked, and all he do is go throughout the whole earth, taking peace from the earth and killing it, and rape, robbing, and murdering, and killing up the whole damn earth. Why? Because he was given that position and that power to do so with that great sword. That was his blessing on the planet Earth. All right. So again, if you don't believe this is the so-called white man, look around and what nation of people do you see doing this to the whole planet Earth? And some people be like, yeah, well, there's wicked people amongst all nations and of all people. Yeah, there are wicked people amongst all nations. You know, even of the righteous seed of Israel. All right. You have wicked amongst Israel. You got fucking homosexuals and sodomites. That's Israelites. They fucking wicked. Yeah, we understand that shit, but we talking about on a massive scale towards the whole planet Earth. Who is poisoning the air, poisoning the water, bombing up the whole planet Earth? It's the so-called white man. None of these other nations are doing this. Yeah, again, you got some bad Chinese people. You know, I ain't saying that they righteous. I ain't saying that they better or whatever, whatnot, but they are nowhere near in the ballpark as the so-called white man. All right. The Arabs ain't in that league. You know what I'm saying? The Japanese, the Africans, none of these people are in the same league as the so-called white man. All right. The so-called white man has the earth in his possession to do what? To rape, rob, and murder and kill and take peace from the earth with his sword. All right. That's what he does. He's in control of the whole earth, and he's ruling in how do you say, by dominating the whole earth. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and close off on this here portion. I'm gonna come back with another part because I got plenty more scriptures to get into. All right. With that, I'm gonna say, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutation. Oh, Salaki, what is this? Might have just lost my video. I'm gonna just go ahead and close out with this and come back with a second part. All right, with that, I'm gonna say, Call halal, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, Bashem Rakak Pradash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and taught us this truth and our rule well. Salutation and much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom. Stay tuned for part 2.